Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble mind. Unscramble mind.
Peace and love, everyone. Happy Thursday. Sorry we were having a little technical difficulties, but hey, I'm Dulcie.
Hey y'all, what the night is? Thursday? It's Thursday! How y'all doing? Come on in, take your shoes off, let your hair down, take it off, and enjoy the show. I'm Nisha.
All right, Nisha, you said take everything off, but let the hair down. That's what I'm getting ready to do. Hey, y'all, it's Daughters of the Sea here. Happy Thursday.
Hey everybody, I'm here too. Sister Freedom in the house.
And
Welcome.
tonight, as a guest, we have Lucky with us. Go ahead and give everyone a background of yourself, Lucky, so everyone can know, your content and what you got going on.
What they do. Yeah, it's your boy Luck. I'm I say I'm a social commentator, right? We kind of come up in the same sector over here, right? But I do more than just diaspora content, so to speak. I'm more than history content, right? I try to lean on the white people a little bit. You know what I mean? Try to keep my ear to the street, so to speak.
Okay.
A good a
You on mute.
Yes, I was taking over from here, but I don't know, like, if I can play Chud the Builder on YouTube. Uh, he's a little controversial. I don't know if we're gonna get in trouble for the N word. I mean, we
yeah,
say
nah.
nigga all the
Usually,
time, but how he says it.
yeah, I usually got to go to the clips where they got them blurted out. You know what I mean? 'Cause we get the
Okay,
gist of what he's doing, right?
who he is. Yeah, give me
So
a
yeah,
second.
I
Let me
think
try to find him. But tell a little bit about the white social commentary that you've been doing and how you've been getting more in the political scene.
so. I really been keeping tabs on him since the whole manosphere uh flourished, right? But it was like kind of like from a distance. Like I never try to create no content or go chat, you know what I mean, banging or whatever. And I guess about 2024, I started really trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to do that. And I started to notice this manosphere, this anti-black
Can't hear them.
I was just
MPM, we
going to
can't hear.
YouTube to see if it was me. Mute up and unmute again,
mute
Lucky.
up and mute unmute.
He might got to go out and come back
You
in.
might gotta go out and come back in.
Yeah, I thought it was me too. Oh my god.
Mhm. Kanisha, she look pretty.
Denise, she look pretty. It's a night full of technical difficulties, y'all, but we gonna be just fine. Yes, we are.
Yeah, I can hear the echo again.
Yeah, I can hear the echo again.
And it's
Oh, sniggle,
delayed.
snaggle.
And it's delayed.
This has to be a StreamYard issue. It's not. It can't be everybody. Messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's up to y'all what y'all want to do. He said I'm coming. He in the chat. He said I'm coming.
In the chat. I'm coming. Did y'all play the Powerball?
No, I wish I did.
No, I wish I did.
And I had a dream about a number.
And I had a dream about a number.
Yeah, something
All
technical
that.
definitely is going on because just now, even when you spoke freedom, it was repeating your answers.
Yes, it's
So
delayed.
yeah, but so definitely something technical going on.
Mm-hmm.
But be patient with us, fam. We won't get it together.
Well, if all else fails, we'll just try it again tomorrow. Figure it out.
And I was looking forward to that Chubb the Builder. I heard his name before, but I'm not familiar with his content. So
Yeah, it's been a lot going
Yeah,
on.
he goes to excite people, and I'm literally still looking for like the words to be blurted out so you can see kind of how he does it. But there's definitely been some other people mimicking, and a lot of it is about he has a court case coming on now. He's facing attempted murder, so
Mm.
but
is
yeah,
there some?
he basically rage baits people in public and black people specifically.
Yeah.
Maybe find can you find a clip maybe of like maybe the news interviewing him or like them just sort of giving a whitewash spiel, sort of like a generic spiel about what's going on with him if you can't find one of the clips with with the language blurred out.
There he is. He came back in, y'all.
My bad, my bad.
Okay, we hear you now.
Yeah, if you looking for that some Chud the Builder clean clips, I think everybody's favorite Tether had them, Poetic Flocko.
I don't even know who that is. Poetic Flocka, you said?
Poetic Flocko. He was a West Coast blogger that's kind of turning up basically because of this Nolan Wells case. The way that he covering the Nolan Wells case, he's starting to get Nancy Grace type numbers on certain videos. But he been covering all the Chud the Builder stuff. He been covering pretty much everything that's been geared up against blacks in the recent what you say about 9 months, because it's been ramping up. It's a psyop,
Mm-hmm.
a psyop. But these are overt acts. You know what I'm saying, to try to stoke the chaos or to push the narratives for the young. You know what I mean, the young white guys and the young brown guys, and it's a lot of young black kids that watch these idiots too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's another form of mind control. This propaganda machine that they've been saying is overseas, right? They've been my whole life. I thought the propaganda was in Russia and in Germany, and then I get online and I'm seeing psyop after psyop after psyop. Like I heard a nigga say Black Americans got a connection with Dominicans, and I'm like, bro, what is this nigga talking about? Like it's so many psyops going on simultaneously. It's crazy.
Hey, Kahi, thank you for joining us. So, what do you think the Dominican connection? What do you think the psyop would be for someone to say that there's connection to the Dominican?
Dulcie, I'm sorry, Dulcie. Do you want? I mean, I was just looking up a clean clip just of like his charge or whatever. Maybe you want to play that. I could put it in a private chat.
Oh yeah, I have his charge right here. Yeah, put it in a private chat. I was bringing up Poetic Flacco too. I think he has like a
Oh,
whole
okay. No, if you
video of
have it,
him
then no,
being
no. Then
arrested.
play what you have. Play what you have. Then that's fine. I was just looking to help. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Okay. Sorry about that. NPM. What were you saying?
So the reason why I bring up the Dominican, right? So with this TPS situation kind of been a hot button topic, and the Haitians been on they've been on the skillet, so to speak. And I've been just noticing certain creators in order to push the wedge between mainland blacks and the blacks in Haiti, they're saying that the Haitians did the Dominicans wrong and all of it. Like I watched a whole 45-minute video from a brother, a prominent FBA brother, trying to get, you know what I'm saying, sympathy points and bigging up Dominicans and saying black Americans always had connections with Dominicans over Haitians. And I'm just like, what? When? I don't know. No Dominican. I'm cool. I don't have not one Dominican homie.
I thought they were the same. Well, at least they're right by each other, the islands, right? Or isn't it the same island?
Yeah, this but the history, the history of fighting back against uh which I don't know what y'all want to call them.
The
You know what I'm
undone.
saying? I knew something was coming.
Y'all know what I call them. The undone.
So the Haitians was the ones who pushed back and got them out of the and the Dominicans brought them in and was harboring them and was hiding them and stuff like that. That's the history that I know.
Wait a minute. So can I ask a question, please? Are you who were the Dominicans and the Haitians hiding? Who were they hiding? The undone?
Yeah, the Frenchmen,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the Portuguese too.
Mm.
They say it was the mix, but I'm I'm under the understanding it was more than just that. You know what I'm saying? Of course that's an easy narrative to push. But yeah, they was hiding them.
So I just don't understand why. But I would wonder why.
Yeah, but here's a clip, yeah, of an undone. And what I was trying to find before Dots was just like him doing the rage baiting. But the video I found, it doesn't blot it out, but he's just like, oh, wherever Nins ends are standing on a wall, you know that it's a trashy place and all this other stuff. And someone was like, oh, he's speaking nothing but facts. So he just rage baits with racism, but he does it in person. He does it like face to face and usually out and about late at night.
Mm.
Viral video circulating online purports to show the chaotic aftermath of a racist streamer allegedly shooting a black man outside a Tennessee courthouse. Streamer Chud the Builder, whose real name is Dalton Etherly, shot the unidentified man during a scuffle on May 13th outside of the courthouse in Clarksville, according to the DA, who said Chud also accidentally shot himself during the confrontation. The 28-year-old has amassed an online following by filming himself spewing vile racial slurs, such as referring to black people as chimps and openly saying the N-word to get reactions. In footage captured by Clarksville Now, Etherly could be seen tended to by first responders at the scene, where he began streaming his interactions following the alleged shooting. Etherly can be heard blaming his gunfire on the other man, who was black, according to witnesses, saying the man confronted and threatened him over his vile online content.
He said, you start saying all that chimp out to me, I'm gonna hit you. He hit me, started wailing on me, even after I had to defend myself by shooting him. He's still wailing on me.
Elsewhere in the 16-minute clip, the streamer can be heard asking authorities if he shot himself amid the scuffle, noting a graze on his arm. The victim was medically evacuated and is recovering in stable condition, officials said. The mustached antagonist was supposed to appear at the court for a civil case over unpaid debts, which comes just days after he was arrested for allegedly refusing to pay a $400 restaurant bill, even after he polished off his entire meal. Following the shooting, Etherly was booked into the Montgomery County Jail, while the local sheriff's office vowed those responsible would be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Etherly has been charged with attempted murder, employing a firearm during dangerous felony, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon.
So yeah, I think the last news about him, his bail was set to $1 million or $1.25 million, something like that. But yeah, so he just was going out antagonizing people, and I think he went to actually shoot someone. I think he wanted it to escalate to that point, but he says the person attacked him for the things that he was just saying, and he had to defend himself by shooting the guy.
Mm.
So yeah, there's tweets out there. I got them bookmarked. Many people are documenting. He probably like 6 days before this happened, he had posted um
Right. Peace and blessings.
finale to this is dead chimp on the pavement. And then the next time he get into an altercation, he shoots somebody. So he definitely was premeditated. No matter how much he tried to craft his little story. That's why the bond was set super high, and they ended up, I think, revoking the bond on one of his charges because he was on for two separate cases. He was out on bond when he caught that case. So they revoked his bond on the other case. So he really don't even got no bond, regardless of the 1 point something million.
So, how do you guys feel about like these personalities that are coming out and doing this, trying to rage bait? Like, do you think it's just all trying to get us to react negatively? Do they want to put us in these kind of situations where someone can get hurt? Or what do you think the purpose is really for all these new characters coming out online and really just trying to bait so-called black people?
Yeah, I think they want to see us in that light, in a negative light. And if we um, fall into that trap, then how how the system is rigged, or how it's quote unquote unfair, then we'll be getting into the trouble and not them. So I think that if we don't fall into that trap, then we'll be all right. And just because I don't know, I guess I don't. To me, I don't look at it as if somebody walk up to me, I'm going to a store and they be like, "N-word this," or that. I look at them and keep moving. Like I don't really have that time to. They say what they want. It doesn't phase me like that. But to others, it does, and then that's where the problem comes in. At I don't know. Maybe I just look at it differently. I don't know.
Do you feel differently if they're recording it and it's gonna go on like a popular YouTube or anything? They're just recording your interactions in public.
But they're not gonna get anything from me because I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm not gonna entertain it, and I think that's what they want. They want the back and forth. So I just won't give them what they want.
Mm. Well, I'm gonna say I feel like they feel like they're entitled anyway, and they want to see what they possibly can get away with. Okay, a person like me, I don't know if I can walk away. You know what I'm saying? I it would have to be that maybe I'm with one of my grandkids or something like that. Well, maybe I would have no other choice but to walk away. But if they're doing it on purpose to get a push out of people, sometimes you can't walk away. because they'll literally get in your face doing things and this, that, and another. Their purpose of it is because they think they can get away with everything. And they have gotten away with it. And that's why I think that they just feel like they're entitled. And for some reason, they feel like America belongs to them. And they want to do, quote unquote, make it right again. So, they feel like they can get away with it because they always have. And I'm a prime believer in doing to others as you have them do unto you. But, I don't think that they want us to speak. That I sent you something, Dulcie, to my daughter just sent me. They don't want us to speak to them. They would rather us not say anything to them, period. But that's my thoughts on it.
So the reason why I think it's important is because um they do try to get away with everything. But
Mm-hmm.
this whole movement is because they feel like they've been suppressed. They have something like it's called no more white guilt. Like they feel like
Mm.
learning about the past make them feel guilty for being associated with being white. This is directly rhetoric coming from their panels. And so the pushback on that is to do this in public. It's called pushing the Overton window, is what they say. Basically, the public discourse, they trying to make it back relevant or back normalizing the disrespect or the anti-black or the anti whatever you want to call yourself. They trying to normalize it again in an attempt to take back some type of mythical power that they feel like they lost, you know what I'm saying, by niggas not being able to say what they want to say. They claim this
Mm-hmm.
is a free speech game, but free speech don't have nothing to do with what you say to me. Free speech got to do with what you're allowed to say about the government.
Right. I agree with you 100%. And I could see that some of them feel like, why should I be blamed for something my ancestors did? That's not how I am. But if you're going to act like that now, then you are just like your ancestors. And a
Exactly.
lot of things that they do show me that they have not changed at all. Even when the young boy got shot here in Delaware, and the mom said, "That's my son. That's my son," and she's trying to get to the car. They it's something about them that divides people, mothers from their children. It's just this is their in their makeup to divide and conquer. So no matter how they trying to manipulate the situations and deflect and gaslight and all this is really what they want to do. Like you said, they trying to normalize, trying to get back and normalize them doing this. And if they get away with it, this is what they're going to do. And we're in 2026, and we are just not going to let them do it. So it's
You said
it's
you in Delaware?
yeah, I'm in Delaware.
Oh yeah, my granny, she's staying in Harrington right now.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm in Wilmington.
Oh yeah, you up top. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I agree with you 100%, but to me, they haven't changed.
So do you think it's important? Because it's not just what they saying on like the public stuff. It's also with who they choose to align with and who they choose to prioritize. Have y'all are y'all familiar with the term heritage American?
Mm-hmm. When you say it again,
A heri-
heritage or
no
heritage.
heritage,
Mm-hmm.
like uh like like history, like ancestry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
So how do y'all feel about that term, and who do you feel like it applies to or should apply to?
Well, I think it should apply. Our heritage is on these lands. I'm American, so but I don't know where you're going with it. So I don't know how you're framing it.
Does you know about a heritage American?
Well, I've never really seen this term being put out
Hmm.
there or anything like that. But yeah, I think she more talking about just the heritage, what it means to be American. But
Yeah.
I know somewhat of what you're talking about. Of people are really questioning or going back and forth about who really is American or who has the
Hmm.
American heritage, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought it was talking about.
Who the true Americans are, or who the
Hmm.
Americans that should be prioritized, or who are the undeportables. You know, any one of these acronyms, monikers or whatever.
Well, can I ask you this one thing? Because I know Dots probably want to say something, but can we all agree that for some reason, these people, beings, for some reason, they tend to think, I don't care who was here first, that America belongs to them. Do y'all agree with that? Do you
Yeah,
agree
for
with
sure.
it? For some reason, even though they know how they got over here, for some reason they think that America is theirs, like as if they didn't come from somewhere else. And they the latest people over here. But for some reason they tend to think that America belongs to them. I'm telling you, these people think they're entitled.
So
And that's
part of
very
that,
dangerous. That's dangerous with what you're saying about them feeling like that, like, shoot. In other words, they're saying black people, these people, that, but they get away with stuff. And just because our ancestors supposedly did this, that, and another, the whole trick mind thing that we should have to bow down, like as if they were both. I was looking for a job and she was looking for a job and I got the job. Now she pissed off thinking I got the job just because I'm, what I'm saying, quote unquote, as they would say, black or copper, I'm copper color, but black. And that's why, so, that's why another reason why they could be doing this.
do you think that they target, or that they uh purposely leave out black Americans to better of white immigrants, or do you think black Americans get a better shake than a white immigrant?
Oh my goodness. You asking me that?
Yeah, I'm
I
asking
think,
everybody that.
well, I'm gonna go with the first thing you said. They try to leave so they can get better treatment. They don't love us at all. They don't care nothing about us, really, if you ask me. They would rather us not be here.
Dots, were you there? Did you want to?
Yeah, I was wondering where Dots was.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry about that. I was just listening. Um, so I know so going back like to the rage baiting piece before with Chubb, the builder, like to you guys' point about we know the intent, which is like to bait and trap the person, right? Like to get you emotionally unstable, trigger you into doing some type of action that would result in your behind getting locked up, right? So we know what the intent behind it is. But those things have consequences. And
Hmm.
and unfortunately, the consequences haven't always been meted out historically, but those things absolutely should have consequences. And I also think it speaks to a larger issue, especially now with just how the internet and social media is used, because I mean, I'm saying we all just in a general term, but even within amongst our kinfolk, just how social media is used to rage bait each other, you know what I mean? Or whatever, it's like everything has to be online for a click, a view, and all of these types of things, right? And sometimes we forget that this is real life, and there's consequences to a lot of things that gets meted out. So, that's that right there, right? I do think though that Chubb the Builder needed his ass whooped, to be quite honest with you.
Hmm.
Um, but like when I think about just the shift energetically, just the shift in terms of people's awareness and consciousness, in terms of lineage and sort of how the pendulum has swung, right? Like where I would say the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s was heavily Pan-African, 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 and you see this shift, because under Pan-African, you got to remember, if you went to higher education, if you went to a university, those are those new terms is what got you paid, right? Whole departments was formed. People were able to create nonprofits pushing this Pan-African paradigm. And so now you see the pendulum swinging, and there's definitely a shift, right? And I think that that's a good thing, because I feel like, especially, when we see what has happened after Trump being, his election after the second term, and we see all that's going on. I think that we all needed collectively to sort of be reminded about reality. I think that we were rocked to sleep and very comfortable. You know what I mean? I really do. And I think that it sometimes it takes things like this to, I don't know, reboot, if you will, to shock, right? The collective consciousness of the people, to be like, wake up, right? This is why delineation matters. This is why creating self-sufficient communities, defend yourself, right? Right to bear arms is I am a big proponent of right to bear arms. I'm not calling 911. Like, what is that about, right? And we see more and more the need for that. We see more and more the need for that. So to be honest, like, I am not offended by any white person saying like, oh, we feel like we need to segregate and create our own communities and X, Y, rock out as you should, but so should we. So should we. And I think that sometimes things need to happen like this to sort of get us out of our comfort zone. And so it's like right now in 2026, it's like, no, you can't say I didn't know. It's too much information out there. We can't say, oh, I didn't know it was like this, or no, there's too much information out there for all of us at our disposal, right? For us to wake up. And we had to, because I think that we were rocked to sleep for a very long time.
And I agree. And I brought a video, Lucky, up for the Heritage American, and then I have some questions. But I agree definitely that they really want us to react. They want us to react individually, and they don't expect like what they're doing, kind of like what Lucky is saying, how they're like, oh, no more white guilt. They're coming together collectively to be like, we're not going to feel bad anymore about history or anything. They want us to always react individually and not have this bring us together, to react as a collective or to move as a collective, and how we should move best, like you were saying, Docs. Being able to protect ourselves, building our own communities, being like they're not
Right.
invited. Like, I
Right.
think the whole response to the Asian businesses is like one way that show like in a positive. This is how
Hmm.
it can be shown positively, that you don't have to react in the moment, react by hitting someone's pockets or taking down the economy.
Hmm. Shout out to Tarnupu. I think if your name sounds familiar, brother. But I will, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that he does a lot of work with that, similar to what Chuck Morgan was on here talking about a few weeks ago, y'all. With Dr. York. So shout out to you if this is the right person.
Shout out,
Tarnupu.
thank you for coming through, Tarnubu 2025. So, okay,
Yes.
so this is on Heritage Americans. How American Are You? The New American Caste System.
Bouncing around among certain people on the right these days that I've seen a bunch of times, and it literally is like it's a little cheat sheet. It says at the top, "How American are you?" and has grade A Americans who are colonial old stock. Colonial old stock from 1607 to 1789. The antebellum stock are grade B. Their families came over between 1789 and 1861. Grade C are the Ellis Islanders. We're bringing back jingoism against the Ellis Islanders, 1861 to 1945.
Dude,
and
that's my crew.
D,
Shout out Ellis Island stock.
Grade D are the new arrivals. So anybody since 1945 to present. You could spend a long time sort of digging around in the muck of all this stuff. But this way of looking at sort of the world, it's a little bit ironic, it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but it's real. I mean, like, this is kind of genuinely how a lot of these people feel about it. And you felt a lot of that at NatCon. The thing that interested me so much about Eric Schmidt's speech is that Eric Schmidt is an adopter of this ideology, right? I mean, I covered Eric Schmidt on the campaign trail, and he was very Republican. You know, I mean, he's the former Attorney General of Missouri. He spent his whole term as Attorney General basically suing the pants off the Biden administration for all sorts of things and using that to build his brand to run for Senate. There's been this meme bouncing around.
So I'm not as familiar with Eric Smith, but as you can see the meme as far as saying the grade of how American you are. But my question is to you, Lucky, if we don't invest in actually learning the history for ourselves, aren't a lot of these undone people, white people, getting to claim grade A when they're not even grade A?
So that's a fact. Though, see, I'll be over on TikTok spreading out the truth, right? Because it, believe it or not, even though y'all do know me as a Pan African, I really identify as a Pan Negro, right? I fuck with niggas everywhere, and I be over there checking them Africans because they be running with. I had to check an African over there talking about some what the Black Americans built since slavery. And I'm like, brother, what the fuck is you talking about? Like you acting like you trying to get on some FBA shit, but you really trying to get off your hate. Now I'm finna get on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to start laying the law, but it's like a lot of people don't know the history, even over here. You know what I'm saying? They don't know about Kansas City or Los Angeles or Houston or any of these major cities, my city in Jacksonville, any of these major cities that these was black towns. Then they said, okay, we gonna come through, create highways, do whatever they do to circumnavigate, you know what I'm saying, black excellence. And then a nigga come around 60 years later and say, what have you built? Or what are you building? It's like, nigga, we still got shit, but nigga, look at this. That shit that just got stowed down. You know what I'm saying? So niggas
Yes,
don't know. You're right. Those a lot of niggas don't know the history.
they don't. That's why they get to run around like, "Oh, we're grade A. We've been here since colonial times. I'm related to the founding fathers." What do you think about that, Nisha? What do you think about white people claiming this when they're most likely grade C, Ellis Island, but they're claiming, "Oh, we're grade A colonial. We were here first."
I mean, they could do that, right? And the reason why they can do that is because of all the brainwashing and all the conditioning that our people have been through. It's like, okay, we're all we all come from Africa. We're all slaves. We are not native or indigenous or however you want to put it to this land. So they could do that. They could say that. And if you don't know where you're from, who you are, then you're going to believe it. You're going to take it and run with it. And I appreciate that my eyes have been open to more so of the truth than these lies. I don't agree with how they feel, but at the same time, it doesn't hold that much of weight to me. Um, I don't deal with them anyway, only business. So, but a lot of people, everybody's good and kumbaya, and we're all one, and we're all connected. I like a lot of the BS that Jane Elliott has said on our show. I don't agree with none of it. Um, so they do look at it, and it's because of our ignorance that we might go along with it. And I just hope that we do understand where we're from, who we are. That's on one hand. The other hand is what are we leaving to the generation behind us? That's how I look at it.
Sister Freedom?
I'm sorry, y'all. I had my mute on. I'm saying I agree with Nisha 100%. That this brainwashing that they have really actually done a number on us, and especially they attack the younger ones because the younger ones are so lazy that they don't even do the look at the history, and they got us so brainwashed now thinking that we from Africa. And I'm telling y'all, it surely wasn't like that when I was little. I ain't hear nothing about us coming from nobody's Africa. And out the Johnny come lately, they start calling us African Americans in the early 90s or something. You know what I mean? But I ain't never like I said, I never went to school with no Africans or anything for them to try to make it seem like it's so many Africans over here and all this here kind of stuff. It's a fad, it's a fade. We are not African. It's as simple as that. We just another form of copper colored people that nature made. That's all. We just a different culture of brown people. But I have to say I agree with everything that Nisha said. So I mean, and you could tell they don't care. Look at our neighborhoods. NPM. Look at our neighborhoods. We don't even have any stores. Like I think where I live at, there's one soul food restaurant. One. All the rest of the stores is owned by Hindus, Chinese, and Arabs. In our communities, and just like that says, we don't have no communities. The other day I was on Marketplace, went to buy something from somebody. She happened to be Hindu. There in Newark, there's a whole Hindu community. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe no white people, no black people, Spanish people, nobody lives in the community except Hindu people. So which means the stores and everything out there, they have all the stores and everything. But it's not like that in our neighborhoods. And they can come in our neighborhoods and get in our faces and call us the N-word. Come on now.
Well, I do know a couple of places where they that still got the neighborhood store. They still got the food spots, but a lot of it is a lot of North Africans that own the chicken spots and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
where
to
you live
me,
at?
I live in Jacksonville.
And then wait a minute, you said there's a lot of African stores or
North Africans. So like it's a lot of people from Tunisia and Libya. It's a matter of fact,
oh, okay.
one of my former business partners, he
Still
was a
not us,
Libyan.
though. But
No,
they
no,
not
no, no,
us,
no.
though.
He was super. He was super. He like old Arabian Night looking ass nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but it's not us. I'm talking about with our culture here from America, with our hip hop ways and our cultures, now our
Yeah,
ways,
yeah, yeah. No, I
our
ain't.
stores. I'm talking about penny candy. I mean, I'm talking about we
Yeah,
don't
no,
even
I
eat
ain't
candy
never.
apples no more. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Everything's taken over. When I
Nah,
just went and got me some fried chicken for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't us cooking it.
nah. But this
You
is what
know,
I
I'm
see,
just
right?
saying.
So I see Irish people cooking Italian food. I see German people cooking barbecue. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh,
see
I
niggas
mean,
making Chinese food. I see Chinese people
oh,
making
well, I don't
Jamaican
see
food.
that. Everything that they cook, they copying off us. Up now, when I go in the Jamaican store now, it's everybody they got mac and cheese with everything. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
What
The
y'all see?
Jamaican mac and cheese, unless it's fried, I don't do Jamaican mac and cheese. It got to be fried. Then now if they fry, I can fuck with it. But other than that, nah. Oxtail with the peas only, please.
No, I'm just saying, you know, I think that the start is we have to start sticking together and take back what belonged to us. And it's no disrespect to no other race. I know you're trying to come to America, and if we choose to come in your areas and buy stuff, that'd be fine. But can we have back our communities? And it pisses me off when I go to the city county builders and stuff, and argue about how can they get this store, how can they get a loan for this store, and they not even from here. And we try to get a loan to do something in the store, and you make it hard for us, our own people, because
So
most of the city
that's where the
county people,
heritage.
yeah,
No, that's the same thing that happened in the city. What you saying is the same thing that happens in my city too. It happens across all of the cities. The city
all the
council
dunk,
members
even the
don't care
Dunkin'
nothing about the
Donuts,
niggas.
Now, even in McDonald's, when we used to work in McDonald's, all the Mexicans, no disrespect, like I'm gonna say it again, no disrespect to no other race, because you gotta make money some type of way. But down they all on the McDonald's. I mean, it's just like, damn. When are we ever gonna get some balls? That's why a lot of times you got to think about why we don't have no respect for each other. Because we've allowed so much to happen. When we gonna get our Nat Turner spirit back? Come on. This is ridiculous. It
We
gets
got
to a point
brothers out
where
here saying that turn ain't even real though, sis. These niggas,
that
they got
they
so
can,
much. There's so much going on out here.
well, I mean, they can say whatever they want to. They better get the spirit. Rather they think, you know, they need to get something. This is ridiculous. The other day, like I said, little boy was killed, shot in the back 3 times. They are rioting here in Delaware because of this boy's murder. And I think that they should. We
We
need
need
to get our
to
stuff
get our
back.
stuff back. What does rioting accomplish?
Well, here's the thing. It's not rioting. I'm sorry. I'm not going to use that. I'm saying marching. They're marching. They're having meetings. They're going into city halls. They're going into counties, saying, but they don't want the police to do no more. The police done went out their daggone minds here. When I don't mean like rioting, going and tearing up stores and that type of, let me change my way of talking. They're doing things peaceful. But as soon as one of those police officers get crazy, because they doing something, like if they do something like what NPM is talking about, and they act a little bit, it's gonna get crazy. It can become something. Don't touch me. Y'all got to move back. Somebody accidentally touched somebody, and it could cause a big thing. I say they ain't doing it right, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because people know how I am. I say they ain't doing it right. I say an eye for an eye. I'm one of them spook behind the door type people.
But you don't see all these other communities when they move, it's an organization behind it.
Right.
So what I feel like, and I say this sometimes on other panels too, I think niggas is missing the organized crime element. Like we have been
I agree.
convinced that everybody else is playing the game by the rules, when everybody else is cheating, lying, stealing, and killing, and they pointing it at niggas. You know what I'm saying? They're skew the numbers. I seen the white boy say on the thing that he is 40 times more likely to be killed by a black guy than a white guy killed by a black. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is y'all talking? They just be making up stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just to be a victim, just to push a narrative. So it's like they when they trying to control what's going on, what's being dictated, what's being said, and then you got niggas just going along because they ain't paying attention. They just turning up, you know what I'm saying, scamming
Yeah,
and getting
lazy.
go yard bags. Then where we gonna be at?
Now I agree with you about the coming together and coming up with a plan. I agree with you about that, but the slow walk is the best walk. You never know when you're coming. But everybody got their own way of thinking.
And I can drop the link shortly for people to start coming up, asking
Mm-hmm.
questions, joining the conversation. But Dots.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes, we
you.
can hear you guys. I can.
Okay, yeah, no. Hey, LTK, how are you?
It's the
Vibration is
OTK.
live. What's up, y'all? Hit the like button as y'all coming in. Yeah, no, I think that also though, to your point too. Can y'all give me 1 second, please? Give me like 1 second, please. I'll be
Mhm.
right
Yeah,
back. Give
no
me 1 second.
problem.
Thank you, guys.
But yeah, I was gonna
Yeah, I
say,
was
since
gonna say.
Austin's more of a asylum city, we had more like Venezuelans. They took over the Popeyes. Damn near gotta say Martes Especial for them to know the Tuesday special. Like there was
Mhm.
no black people in Popeyes for a while.
In Popeyes, though. In Popeyes.
Oh yeah, Dos. I was waiting for you to speak up because when I went through your side, they was looking at me like you know Spanish. I'm like, man, we in America. Where's everybody at? What we doing in here?
Mm-mm-mm. And you know what? I'm gonna say this too real fast. I'm
Sorry
sorry,
about that.
y'all. We become
Okay.
lazy
You
and placing. We just lazy.
I don't know if it's laziness though, but
I
go
was
ahead.
Nisha, what you say? Sorry, I'll go after you, Nisha. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't really think it's laziness.
Mm-hmm.
I think that throughout our history and all of the trauma, it's a lot of us have gotten to a point of um being comfortable and just trying to live this life and stay out the way. I don't look at it as just being lazy. I look at it as we are able to breathe for a minute. Um, so I can't I don't want to say laziness. I just want to say being comfortable and not trying to rock the boat or not trying to discomfort the comfort.
Yeah, but that is a form of fear too. It's some fear in there. And then even when you're saying it, like I can agree with what you're saying, I truly can. But I'm just saying we can't afford that. We have to keep our eyes open for our babies. For our, we got to keep. We have to let them know what happened, what's going to happen if you don't do this and you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I'm saying laziness, just because of what you're saying. We done got comfortable. We don't want to mess things up. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to do this. No, we have to do something else. Look, we are losing. But it didn't used to be like this. There was a time that we was like, what's up? Come in the street. Now it's like, man, I'm going on in the house. Oh, man. Nah, you hit me, I'm hitting you back. If you come close, I might even hit you first. Mm-mm. No, I don't know when we're going to change this. Like, I can agree with what you're saying, but nobody wants trouble, but you got to protect yourself. And somebody just coming up to you, talking about something, this, that, and another, all up in your face, and this, that, and another. First, because of the trauma that you're talking about, niche, is the reason why we reacting the way we were acting. If somebody come up to us, talk about nigga this, nigga that, what? Do you know what we've been through? Are you just gonna come up to me talking about this, that, and this because you think you can? Because of what you think you made, it ain't your fault. This, that, and another. Nah, that might get your lip jammed up. Stay in your lane. Treat others the way you expect to be treated. I don't know. I just don't see it that way. We
I
got from
apologize, Doc.
stuff.
My bad.
Yeah, I do think there's a bit of going back to when you were saying freedom about us like not owning businesses, for example, right? Or being in black communities where the businesses are owned by foreigners, so to speak. And I do agree with you to the point of that we also have to take accountability because it's not just their fault, right? Like we have to take accountability and see
Mm-hmm.
what our part in how this happened is, because we can
Mm-hmm.
point the finger one way. You know how they say you could point your finger, but there's three pointing back
Three
at
people.
you, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's a real conversation. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because ain't nobody gonna give us anything. Let's be clear, right? If that's one thing history has taught us is that. But when, um, uh, to the point of like, I was thinking about like a lot of, not a lot, but there's quite a few, quote unquote, black senators, congressmen, government officials, for example, in a position of power, um, but their lineage are either African, maybe their parents were born in Africa, some of them were born in Africa, or maybe from the islands, right, where they're not what some of us would deem American Indian or copper colored or, let's for the paradigm of FBA. So And I think that that's interesting because a lot of them typically are against reparations, which is crazy, right? Like Winsome Sears, I was looking it up. She's Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. She was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and she's one that's always been like against reparations, right? You have another one, a Congresswoman Mia Love from Utah. She's Haitian American, right? Against things like reparations. And it's like, yo, you don't speak for you can't speak for us, right? Like that's crazy, right? So like, whether or not you agree with, let's say, reparations or anything thereof, it's interesting that you. So it's interesting because I had asked Judge Joe Brown this question too when I was Judge was on Top Cat. We had him on as a guest or whatever. Shout out to BCU. And I had asked him that question about, like what is the impact or the effect of having quote unquote foreigners um, in positions of power, like that are in government and hold government appointments, right? But they have government offices, and what are the repercussions of that? And when you look at it, you see there's quite a few of them. It's not that many it's not that many American Indians in Congress or in the Senate, right? Or in positions of power. A lot of them, although they may be black facing, they are one generation from being, let's say, from an island in the Caribbean or from South America or from Africa, yet have very big voices, right? And have the power to decide on things that has really nothing to do with them. That's not their history. So we have to be real. I feel like that's why going back to my point about delineation and why that matters and being a little bit more intelligent just in terms of like how we're voting, right? Like how I've always voted Democrat. Why? Because everybody in my family voted Democrat, right? I'm not doing that anymore. That's not enough for me, right? Like just to vote for someone because you're a quote unquote Democrat. That has not worked. It doesn't work. It's been ineffective. So, I'll land my plane there, but that's just what I was thinking of when I was listening to you guys. Those you want to drop the link?
Oh yes, I just dropped the link and I just pinned it in the chat. Peace, Bad Saint, OTK, Draco. So I just dropped the link
OTK.
and you guys can come up, join the conversation, ask your questions. Anybody that wants to go more into any kind of details, just come up and let us know. So okay, I know we went in a lot about us, but kind of still about them now. So they have this term, the Heritage American. And did you have any clips, Lucky, as far as like them going in and being like they're the true American? Or where do I go to get that?
He's on mute. He might don't realize it.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Let me.
And we see y'all coming in. Hey,
Exactly,
Bassy.
Bad Say.
What's
I know
up,
you.
sis?
Hey, Bad
You
Saint.
like
Hey, Bad
FIB.
Amber.
Hey, Bad Hombre. Mia Love was married to Brad. She hated FBA. I don't even know who Mia Love is. Hold on, y'all.
Yeah, she's from Utah, I believe. White husband, the whole nine, Haitian American.
Can I in you were saying something about they say when it's we need to clean up our areas and stuff like that. You were saying that the guy was saying some things like that.
Oh, just basically, you know how Trump was like, "Oh, these are shithole countries" and all this other stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
was basically the same sentiment, but saying like whenever there's a whole bunch of black people standing around, then that place is a shithole. You already know, like it's not a place you want to be. So he's going to certain places to say that in front of them and get a reaction.
Mm.
Yes, Brett. That hombre. Yep, married to a Brett. Yep, he really has some nerve, and I don't agree with, like, you know what I mean? Like, girl, have a seat.
Who was that? I
No,
did
I'm
say
talking about
well,
that hombre in the chat. He was talking about Mia Love.
Mia Love. Her name is familiar to me, but I'm saying
She was a U.S. Congresswoman, I believe, out of Utah. But I'm
okay.
just
I'm
saying,
gonna
she
ask
was
y'all.
like
I'm gonna
one of
ask you a question and be truthful though. I mean, I'm saying, do our neighborhoods have to look the way they do? We can clean up our neighborhoods.
no, absolutely,
We can. We
absolutely.
got, like you just said, we got to take responsibility as well for ourselves. We have to take accountability. Ain't nothing gonna move if we don't move it. Mm. We got a lot of them
NPM, where
out
you
here that'll
go?
still
We
fight.
waiting for NPM? Was he pulling up a clip or something?
We have like a lot
NPM,
of
we can
people in
hear you.
Delaware
Yeah, I
that
was getting that
still get
clip.
out here and do what they do. Like I said, right now, Delaware on fire. Wilmington, I'm gonna say Wilmington is on fire right now because of what
But do
happened.
you really think? Okay, so I want to go with the question Anisha had when she was asking about the rally. But even with the marching thing, like really, how effective do you think that is? Or do you,
Well,
or would it be more effective? Go ahead.
okay. I think that it makes a statement. If you don't do nothing at all, then But the fact that they got enough in them to get out here and do that, what I'm saying? At least it shows that, they making a statement. They saying something. It's, what I'm saying? To not do anything at all makes, what does that do? So at least with the crowd that's saying, we have to stop our police officers from doing this. Now, I would like the signs to say an eye for an eye. You take one of mine, I'm gonna take one of yours. But they're saying whatever their signs say. You know what I mean? But you got to do something. You can't just not do anything.
I think I agree with that part that you got to do something,
You gotta do
but
something.
I don't necessarily believe in marching. I'm more so that that's really not doing anything. To me, it's too much of, oh, I got to make this statement to someone of the other race, or I got to make it known that I feel this way to them. But I think that's where this conversation is important because we need to start being on code amongst ourselves and not think about them. Separate, kind of like what Dots was saying. Completely separate from them. It doesn't matter if
I agree with that.
statements that we're making to them or marching to them or asking the police or anything. If I agree with you, Sister Freedom, if we're on that eye for an eye type of time, and it's like they know, hey, if you cross this line over
Hmm.
here, it's different. There's different. It's a different jurisdiction, even though it's the United States still. But there's gonna be black people over here, and they don't play that.
That's
But
right.
we don't operate like that together anymore. But I
But
think that
that's what
was
I'm
a
saying.
major
That's why
way
I
we
said,
used to operate that really showed them we meant business.
hmm that's why I said you need that Nat Turner spirit back. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. I've heard people, I never forget Professor Small said, I'm telling you right now, I might as well go ahead on and put, you know, put my house up, my car here. You can take this, that, because you take one of mine. See, it's just it's the I think action speaks louder than words. Like I'm saying, it's good that they're marching. They got the signs of this, that, and another. But you know what they're gonna say? The newness all wears off. That's all they're going to do. We can get them because they just, some this, that, and another. We can give them a couple $1,000s or whatever, this, that, and another, and that'll be it. We ain't gonna hear their mouth no more. Not for mine. I believe that the officer that shot the boy need to go to jail. You need to see exactly how it feels. And if I'm going to cry for my baby, then you're going to cry for one of yours. That's the only way it's going to stop.
But I don't think so though, because if you look, it's still happening, right? So if we look at the guy the guy in Texas that killed all of those police officers, and they had to send the robot police thing to kill him. Then look at the other guy who shot the police officers in the car in New York. Then we got the guy that just killed the cops for because the cop killed his son. So it's not stopping anything. The violence is not changing the mindset. So, what is the right solution? Because if we kill them, okay, we kill them. And then they killing us, and then we killing them. And then they killing us. So, where is the change going to come in at?
It's this type of thing. If you'll think twice. Okay, say you got a big family. I'm just using that as an example, right? And you jump somebody. You're gonna always wondering, like, damn it. You'll think twice if you think that they're gonna do something to you. But if you're walking around here entitled, okay, so they killed the man that killed all the police officers, right? But it's different if you kill somebody's child and now you're afraid of thinking somebody gonna kill your child. Because you know what I'm saying? Because it has happened, because you killed their child, and somebody make it clear, if you do it, like what we just saying, our Black community, what Dulcie just said, don't come over here. Something, I mean, Nisha, seriously, you got to think about it. Something has to be done. You can't, I mean, if they march, that's making a statement. But if you take somebody's life and it's unjust, and you think somebody going to do something to you because you did it, because you notice if somebody said, well, which cop did it? They won't tell you which cop did it if you didn't actually see the cop that did it. Most of the time, they don't tell you who did it because they fear that you might want to get back. Something, I mean,
so again, what is the resolve?
I just think that fear is the mind killer. So don't do it if you don't want it done to you.
And hey,
I don't know.
I know you just joined and everything. What's up?
Hey, how y'all doing, Chief Mrs.?
Hey, OTK.
What's up? Bless to y'all, man. Salute to y'all. How y'all doing, my sisters? My chiefnesses. Man, great conversation, man. Shout out to Lucky. Good Bill. Great conversation. It's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. You know what I mean? And as we can see right now, between you and Nisha, we can see that it's some things that we still don't agree on.
Mm-hmm.
And so before we can even get together, we got to be on code. Like Lucky said, you got to be on code. And right now we can absolutely see that we're not all the way on code. And code doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, everybody got to follow the same thing and nothing like that. No, being on code is wherever you're at, making a difference where you're at to stop this or to stop these things. And like I said before, and I still say it now, the only way I see things stopping or coming to a halt, we got to put our people them in place in Congress, in government, and stuff like that. The only way you can change a corrupted system is to get your peoples them involved. And now, the same things I was kicking 4 years ago, I'm starting to see it come to fertility, because now you see this progressive group in Michigan that won the election. They split up the Democrats, pretty much. That's what they're saying, and the Republicans. And they're a progressive group, younger people. Remember, all change comes from the youth. I don't care what movement it's been or whatever like that in the past. It all comes from the youth. So I think the only way that we can ever make a change, you got to start in your community, start in your area, then it goes city, and then it builds farther in the state. You start dealing with other people, and you get these people in these places. You raise your kids to start getting government seats. You raise them in political science. You raise them in law. You teach them these things so they don't have to go through what we going through. Now, granted, they don't have to go through what we going through as far as like with jobs and stuff like that, because my era, it was the prison job. Once you had a felony, you was pretty much messed up. Section 8 came out, housing. The daddy couldn't be home with the kids unless he paid rent. That destroyed a lot of families in our communities. I must agree. But the people who was making these laws wasn't none of us. It need to be us in these places. And I strictly stand on that because I'm in politics, and I strictly stand on that because I know when you get into politics and you got other people in the politics, you can definitely make a change within your neighborhood first. Well, I don't know how y'all upper cities go. I'm talking about the South. You can definitely make a change. Matter of fact, I'm talking about up north too, because y'all elected a black mayor who was locked up, rolling with the 7 crowns and all of that, man. Adams. Matter of fact, he was the mayor of New York, and he was locked up for stealing and all kind of shit like that. But so that lets you know, man, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to start at. Marching, protesting, all of that, it gets you small things. They give you enough to shut you up. And that's how I feel about it, man. So it ain't the same as marching back in the 60s. This ain't the same marching as what's going on now. It's a way bigger, different thing. When they marched in the 60s, it was an outcome. Something did happen with that. Now they just marching just to march for no things. The only people I see benefit out of all the Black Lives Matter was the Black Lives Matter group and the LBGT. Point blank. That's all I see. After all that was over, dog, we still in the same spot, and we still talking about the same things 5 years, 7 years, 10 years later. We still talking about the same things. How we gonna do this?
But facts, OTK, and I wanted to ask you because I didn't want to skip over you, but it was a good conversation. Y'all are going back and forth, Sister Freedom and Nisha, and I think you're mixing in an element of what I agree needs to happen to OTK, but I do believe that eye for an eye mentality got to be mixed in. When you suppose like, well, this person went after the police because their son. This person went out the police because something happened to them. This person, those are all individual pockets. That's what they want us to keep doing. Be reactionary to something that's happening that is affecting our individual family or our individual people. Instead of like Bad Saint was saying, the South, why the South has sundown towns. Now, if a white person just walks into our neighborhood, no matter if they're the police, everybody coming outside to be like, what is this dude doing in our neighborhood? So he don't even have the opportunity to be on no BS. Because the whole neighborhood outside, like, what are you doing here?
Big
So
facts.
we don't operate as a collective and community, and that's why the eye for an eye doesn't work, because it would definitely work in a group collective setting.
All right, so Dosey, speaking from a South perspective, an eye for an eye rule was something I grew up on. I grew up on the Old Testament. Do on the others as they do on to you. You know what I mean? That's what I grew up on. It wasn't until this New Testament came out with Jesus that say, well, damn, if he slap you, turn your other cheek and let him slap your other cheek. And if he want this, then give it to him, because he will be handled later on. No, that New Testament, and strictly in the South. And I'm telling you, in the South, those where I'm at, dog, that New Testament messed a lot of things up. It started telling people to be humble. Oh, put your faith in Jesus. That was a major problem. And see, I got to say Jesus because I can't say no other religion, because no other religion was in South Carolina like that. You had the Nation of Islam, you know what I mean? But that was it. It wasn't no Hebrew Israelite. It wasn't no Moors. It wasn't no none of that. None of that down here. No 5%ers. No. They was coming down here, you know what I mean, and 1 or 2 at a time and kicking their word, but it wasn't no group like what they was doing back in the day. So I believe in that eye for an eye. I think that will keep people at bay. Like, dog, if you know you go out and you kill somebody, somebody gonna kill somebody in your family, if not you. I believe in that eye for eye. I definitely do.
That sounds good, right? I'm sorry, sister. That sounds good, but why the hell is Zimmerman still alive? Right? Why? Right. So why is all of these people that commit acts against us, why are they still walking around? But you got so many Bloods and Crips and the disciples and all of this stuff killing each other
Gangsters, everybody with
instead
the
of
thugs,
care
the hard.
justice.
Nisha, I understand. I do. I'm not. I can't say I don't agree with the things that you're saying. What I'm saying is, for one, I don't know why they haven't done anything. I guess the fear. That's what I'm saying. The only thing I can think of is scared. That's the only word could come to my mind. There's some that'll go right out with. I'm sorry, I got an echo. So.
Well, you deal with somebody like
But that's why I said I'm not spooked behind that door. You ain't gonna know when it's coming.
Wasn't Zimmerman mama like a judge or something? So I feel you, Nisha, with that. His mama was like a judge or a big attorney in Florida too, right? Or something like that. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, Nisha, man. People like that supposed to be up underneath the jail. The police tell you not to run them down, and you still ran them down. Damn, somebody
I
got a
get
phone
Nisha's
right
point. He's not supposed to be underneath the jail. He just supposed to be 6 feet under. But
Okay,
my
that's the
problem
part
is
I'm getting to.
we
Yeah,
don't
supposed to be
have
6
that
feet under.
mentality. So that's just a
there.
utopia thought. But it's a
Well,
real thought to be like that mentality would change things. If
well,
there
sis,
was
up
a
underneath the jail
community
is
that's
the
like,
same
no, we
thing
ain't
I'm saying.
playing that, and Zimmerman did come up dead, then that would make people think twice. But they know that's not our community today. They know that. That's why they know they can get us
Yeah.
out marching and crying and all this other stuff and being like, why'd you do
Right.
that? And they know they can get us charged up in these moments where nothing is going to happen at the end of the day. And they can feel safe because we're uh, we're
So
not
when
going to
I
do
say up
anything.
underneath the
That's
jail, so
why.
when I say up underneath the jail, sis, I'm talking about they need to be laid in the foundation.
Yes.
When
Y'all
I talk about
remember
up
that movie
underneath the
Law Abiding Citizen?
jail, I'm not talking about in no cell. They need to be up underneath the jail, meaning they need to be the part of the foundation. They need to be in concrete. For real. Word. That's what
Y'all
I'm
remember
saying.
that movie?
I have a
That movie is a
question. I
prime
have a
example
question real
called
quick.
Law Abiding Citizen that Jamie Foxx played in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Honey, that was
yeah.
one of my favorite movies.
I have a question. I had a question. So you know how OTK, when you had mentioned about, like the importance of getting, you know, our folk into these positions of power and influence, right? Which you are spot on. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to like politics, we know you need a lot of money. That's what shapes things, right? You need lobbying groups and you need people to donate. You need people to actually give money to that PAC, right? Give money to that lobbying group, okay? Because that's how things work in politics, period. It's not about a feeling, it's not about an emotion, it's not about morality. It has nothing to do with that. It begins and ends with the dollar sign, point blank in the period. And if y'all remember, about 10, 15, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, when we would have these conversations, one of the things that would come up, would be like, okay, so it's important for kids to see themselves, right? Like in positions of power. So, for example, at one time, like the NYPD, the New York City Police Department, or the New York Police Department, or whatever, was predominantly white, right? There wasn't much diversity in there, whether it's the firefighters, whether it was the police officers, right? Diversity was definitely needed, and many people felt like if we get more black and brown cops up in there, you know what I mean, and allow them to police the neighborhoods, that they could probably relate. You know what I mean? You could build communities. Y'all remember that?
Hmm.
Yeah, that
Do y'all
was
remember that
Giuliani's
or
time
no?
in New York, right? That would be Giuliani's time
Yes.
in New York, right?
Well,
Mm,
Giuliani was more.
mm.
That's more so
And that was
after.
the stop and frisk era too. Yeah, go ahead, sis.
Yeah, but like, but after Giuliani, it's not really his time. Like after Giuliani left office, I'm saying there was this big push to, diversify the police department, diversify, make sure that diversity is in every, place of power. Okay, it was a big push, right? There was a lot of ads, a lot of campaigning, promoting this, right? Like they really was going after quote unquote minority officers. However, now, right, in 2026, where the police department, not just in New York, I would say all over for the most part, right, it has more representation, if you will. Maybe not enough, but it definitely has more representation than it did before. But has that changed anything? Have we seen a difference, right? You'll find that a lot of those police officers, maybe they felt like they was going into it for something good. Maybe they felt like they would make a difference, right? However, once they get there, you realize you're operating within a system that's been in place for God knows how long. And you better go along to get along, or you're not going to last, right? And so instead of looking at this quote unquote black officer as a brother or as a sister, it's not, right? That's just black face, but they're not on our team. So the diversity is there, but there's been no changes. So how do we address that? Because just because you look like me don't mean you're for me. We know that.
Okay, that's a good question. So, sis, for me in the South, I don't know how y'all districts work because I know y'all be having aldermen and stuff like that. So we don't have aldermen. We got county council, and then there's Goose Creek Concerned Citizens where I'm from. We got the city of Goose Creek, which started in 1960 something, 50 something, and they have a mayor over there on that side of the Goose Creek. I'm also in Goose Creek, but once you cross a certain part of the tracks, you're in the city of Goose Creek. So with me, what I did, sis, is I say, well, I need to target my county councilman and I need to target my state house representative who's in Columbia and they're next. That's federal because that's dealing with the federal government with state and county. County is dealing with only state local funded money, and then they get money from the feds depending on what they ask for, but the state gives them grant the money. So what I did is I helped get these people elected. So the reason how I did that is because the whole community respected me. So if I say, yo, boom, I throw a cookout and I say, yo, I let this I let all the representatives who running, all of them come out to my cookout. And I let the people choose, and then we have a community meeting, and then they let me know what they thinking about. We let each other know, and then we go about it. So in other words, we're like the mayor on my side Goose Creek. So it's a whole different aspect when it deals with me. So our county councilman pays the sheriff and the police department. So that means our tax dollars is going straight to them. So if we tell a county councilman and we go to county council and be like, yo, Berkeley County Police is off the chain. They doing this, they doing that, they got to abide by it. Now, y'all being in a major city, major state, it's a little different. And I think that's where the problem lies at, because when I say things I say, that shit ain't that easy to do where y'all from, you feel me? So I think we need to find out how we can come together to try to what they call it, not minimize this bigger thing, because I'm sure out there in Texas, Dosey that's a big ass state too. So Dosey probably have something different too. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that might be a problem too. You know,
Well, I guess
but
my question more so.
that's how we can bat the problem where I'm from, Dots, and that's all I can give my
Yeah, no,
opinion
no, I hear
on.
you, and I think it definitely is easier, like in a smaller place or in a smaller town for sure. Um, but I'm saying just in terms of to the point that there needs to be we need to be there, right? Like we need to be in the seat, we need to be in the position of power. And what I guess what I'm asking is like because there is more representation, what are the outcomes? Have there been progress? Have there been change? How do we ensure that the people, although they may look like us, how do we ensure that they stay on code, quote unquote, right? How do we ensure, is there a way to ensure that? So that's why I use the example of, like, let's say the NYPD, who was reckless. All police departments are reckless, in my opinion, right? It's organized gangs, okay,
Right,
for
right,
sure. So,
right,
right, terrorists. But
right, right.
right, and so up until about 10, 15 years ago, one of the talking points was that we need to see black cops. We need to see, we need to see us represented. We now have that, but the problem still persists. And if anything, I will go out on a limb and say a lot of them brothers, quote unquote, brothers and sisters, right? Because they're skin folk, don't make them kinfolk, but a lot of them, although they appear in quote unquote blackface, right? They're not for us. They're very much a part of the system. They look like us, right? But that's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah,
So how,
yeah.
and that happens all the time. So just because there's representation doesn't necessarily mean that the output is going to be good, right? That what's produced is going to be good.
Right. So
So
that's why you
how do
gotta
we
have
ensure that,
people in place, Dots. Because if
right?
you don't do what we tell you to do, you're not getting elected next term. You feel me? So I
Yes,
have like the upper hand. Like, yo, if you're not doing what we ask you to do, dog, you're not gonna be in there next term.
yes,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Because
And local
where I'm
elections are so
from, we
important.
control like 50 something part of the vote for county council. And my
And
neighborhood is, I mean, American Indian out. You know what I mean? We've been here. My family, them and my peoples, them who've been here represent that 50%. So it's a little different for us, Dots. Damn. And I be looking at that shit, man. Like when I be looking at Chicago with the aldermen, I be like, man, damn, boy, that's a high hurdle. Boy, y'all got a big hurdle to jump being in the major cities.
Hmm.
It's a bigger hurdle to jump. But
Well, no, I think you know what
the
the
thing is,
local
man,
election.
y'all got that. So in the South. So what I do, sisters, chiefnesses, them dots, what I do when I want to get everybody together, I put a sign up on the corner store in all the corner stores. I'll get it broadcast over the radio. I'm throwing an event. And this is why I'm throwing the event. Everybody is coming out. You understand what I'm saying? So, oh man, y'all, man, listen, that's why we was Confederates. And we didn't even want the Union no part of us, man. We didn't want to even mess with y'all up north people. But not y'all, but them up north people, man, because they didn't understand the Southern ways. All they was looking at, the South is richer than the North. That's all they was looking at, man. And you know, and right now to this day, that's why we still in this conundrum, and people still confused. That's what I think it is. People just confused because you got history saying, well, all the blacks in the South was Republicans. But from what history tell you, only whites was Republicans. There wasn't no black Republicans. They never told you that it was a bipartisan racial group that came out of the South that damn near ran the government, that was getting elected. They was what you would call white and blacks, the radicals. You know what I mean? So that
And OTK, that's what we were kind of getting into before. That's why I was going to play that clip about JD Vance. But basically, the heritage Americans are these white people that get to claim because people don't know the history and say, "Oh yeah, we're related to these white people that are on the foundations that are in the beginning, the 1700s." And because people don't understand that history, they're labeled as white. All these white people can go around claiming it, and there's gonna be no backlash. There's no be no, oh, okay, prove it. Who are you related to? They just throw out a
right,
name. Oh, I'm related to George
right,
Washington, and people believe him because George Washington was white. Thomas Jefferson was white. So
right,
that it
right,
it just ends up being a thing.
right. You definitely correct, sis. But yeah, dots, man, y'all up in them bigger cities, man. Um, I'm gonna tell y'all, me, I don't care about the federal level, like on some real stuff. State house is the farthest I go. County council, I stick with that because I deal with my community. So I see results when I deal with what, you know what I mean, with my community and the votes with the county council. We can see differences because our tax money is paying for these things in the community to get done. So when we don't see it getting done, then it's a problem. So we can go to these meetings and we can advocate for these things. We don't have to march. We don't have to do none of that. You understand what I'm saying? So um we way different in the South, I think. Way different in the South. But groom your kids you know what I mean, in political science, man. That's all I say. Groom your kids in political science. Not only put a basketball, a football, or a baseball, or a soccer ball in their face, man. Put that political science book in their face too. Math and political science, man. I think that's gonna be the key for the future generation, because then they can understand the language that's getting portrayed across the screen or that's getting portrayed in these documents. A lot of problem with us is that we didn't understand the language that was getting portrayed by them. because they started changing things from common language, what we would call layman terms, into more political terms, and they started making up other words for these things to mean the same thing. And that's why now you got to have a law degree or these things right here. So it was a big it was a big conundrum, man. And I don't know how we got from winning the civil rights case in 1865 and we was voting to where in 1965 Martin asking for civil rights and for us to vote. I don't understand this. 100 years, this is what they did. It ain't easy to see. 1865 Civil Rights Bill or the American Indian Rights Bill. Fair housing, fair this, fair that. All of that was passed, but then 100 years later, in 1965, now we fighting to vote after we already been in Congress in the 1800s. You had people in the South in Congress. I'm talking about federal Congress now, in the House and in the Senate. So that right there, dots make you say, what the hell happened? So in 1865, was that the Indian? And now in 1965, they done reclassified us as Negro, colored, black, African American, all this right here. And now they pull a final wool over us. Now we fight for Civil Rights Act in 1965 after we already got granted in the 1865 Indian non-tax.
I want to say
it's called the 1865 Civil Rights Bill, but it's also known as the Indian Civil Rights Bill. So
somebody,
who is the Indian?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I
Go ahead.
apologize. I cut you. So no, my fault. My fault. Go ahead, OTK. I apologize.
No, my bad, goddess. Chiefness. I probably had a little slight delay. Go ahead, Chiefness.
No. I was saying somebody in the chat was saying, why do we always cry victim? Well, we are victims. That's probably why. We have been taken advantage of. We are victim. We are really victims. I'm not going to say that we shouldn't take accountability for our own actions, but I'm not going to say that we have not been victims, because we are.
Yeah,
So,
we are victims of land theft and we are victims of manipulation.
Absolutely.
Y'all remember a long time ago? Y'all remember when y'all said, OTK, dude was Dosey. OTK, so how do you feel about reparations? I said, Dosey, I don't want no reparations. Dosey said, well, damn, well, give me yours then. Y'all remember that?
Right.
He was like, well, what do you want, OTK? I said, man, we don't want reparations, man. We want restoration. Restitution. We want what's owed to us, because if you a big time drug dealer, you go to federal jail. When you get out, or you go to state jail, when you get out in the state of South Carolina, you got to pay a restitution fee. Meaning you got to pay money back on the taxes that they're trying to add in to say how much money you made, when they don't know how much money you made, but they just assuming and they adding taxes on it. It's called restitution. That's what we want. We want restitution. I don't care about reparations, dog. I don't care about your money. I rather care about the land back, and I want to care about the rights restored back that we already had, that y'all took from us when y'all reclassified us.
Well, here's another thing. I'm gonna answer Bad Ombre. Hi, Bad Ombre. How you doing? Okay. First of all, you gotta keep in mind. You got to keep in mind. We are the indigenous people for these lands. Okay. So I don't know where you're going. Yes, they came over here and enslaved the people that was already on these lands, stole their property, stole their lands, enslaved them, treated them dirty, changed their religion, all the stuff that they're trying to say that they did to these so-called came came over slaves that never happened. They did it to the people that was already on these lands. Okay. It's just as simple as that. When they came over here, they invaded, conquered, stole, divided, all kinds of stuff to the people that was already on these lands. Because I know you don't think that they had to wait to bring people all the way over here from Africa to do that too. That don't make no damn sense. They did to people that was already here. Okay. And no, blacks do not love being on nobody's bottom. Why would you even think that? That don't even make sense. We love being, that's coming out of a, see, this is what I'm talking about, out of a man's mouth. That's so-called black himself, that we love being on the bottom. Are you on the bottom? Because there's a lot of copper color indigenous people that are on business owners and homeowners. Okay. So I don't understand it.
Hey, so Sister
People
Freedom,
always saying stuff, but they don't
got
think
to ask.
before they talk.
That's another thing you got to ask, Sister Freedom. How we at on all of these businesses in the 1800s, but in the 1900s, we're inferior to the white man or to the European.
Well, in the 1900s,
What
we
the
still
hell
had businesses, though. We still had business, I think, in
Yeah,
the
but then
1900s.
we was on we was on the decline. Our farms, all of that was on the decline. Goddess, they took
Yeah,
they
that's true.
dog that census. When that census stuff came out, that messed everything. That flipped the whole United States of America. I'm saying the United States of America. Matter of fact, let's just stay right here on the East Coast. That flipped the East Coast up. I don't even want to go on the other side of the Appalachians yet, because they didn't know nothing about the other side of the Appalachians in the late 1700s, early 1800s, mid 1800s, and some parts. Some they didn't discover to the 1900s, but you know
I
what I
want to
mean.
say something to OTK. OTK, listen, I'm going to say this. If right now you a man with your family, right? If some people came in your house and y'all in at night sleep, right? Y'all in your bed sleep. And some people came in y'all's houses in the nighttime. You a whole man. You know you are a whole man. Knowing that you will get out in the street and fight and all that, but you in your bed sleeping, somebody come in your house with a gun over you and your family. Even after it's over with and say nobody in your house got hurt, do you know you would still be traumatized for the rest of your life?
Back in the day when all that was going on,
No.
that's why a lot of
I'm
my
saying that. I'm
family
saying that.
members.
No.
That's why a
I'm
lot of
saying
my
that to
family
where,
members moved up north, because
right? But
once they did that, once they came in the people's house like that, one
yeah,
of the family members went and killed that person, or they
yeah,
went
but
and
no,
did
that's
something
what I'm
bad to
saying.
that
But it
person.
will forever, even if it was one brave person that went and did whatever, you still gonna be traumatized in your mind that it could happen.
Right,
People
right.
always think like it's trauma for
Yes,
somebody to
yes.
come, even though this is, I'm saying, when them invaders came over, they traumatized the people that was on these lands. They weren't used to that. That's not something that people get used to. Stealing your land, killing your family, seeing all of this that was going on at that time. I
I
remember
think
when
they
we couldn't even walk on
weaponry.
it. I'm telling you, in my lifetime, we
I
couldn't
think they
even walk
weaponry
on the
killed them.
same side of the street with the so-called white man. Couldn't even walk. I'm from Atlantic City. Couldn't even walk on the same side of the street with them. Black people was coming in our schools and stuff, getting dressed to do shows. I met Marvin Gaye when I was 6 years old. I remember they used to come to our school. Those type of things stay in your mind. So if I see a black and white couple walking down the street, it's going to affect me different than how it's going to affect, somebody in now times. They see it don't bother them. But for me, who grew up that way, it still has an effect on me.
Right.
because
And I
a
think that
trauma.
becomes from the thought process of where they're when they're starting integration.
Thank
But
you.
we break down the Trail of Tears so much, but I think there's so much to uncover about
Yes, it
these
is.
great
I agree.
migrations that we don't talk about. And I think that's really the
Right.
change, OTK, where
Exactly.
you're it's not just the South that's like that. That's Goose Creek is like that. But
Hmm.
because so
Right.
many families went to Chicago and then others went to New
Right.
Jersey, others
Right.
going to California, like we need to understand why. What separated
Exactly.
the families like that to start moving to different other places? We can assume jobs. That's probably like a large part of the reason, I'm sure.
That was
But it
problematic.
has to be some reason where these neighborhoods got broken up at that time
Hmm.
for people to
Exactly.
move all over to different states.
And that's when I
Exactly.
say I agree with Nisha. When Nisha say people just trying to have peace in their life, just trying to come home, put their feet up, look at TV, eat their dinner, take a shower, and go to sleep. I understand that because after fighting for so many years, you get to that point. You get to that point where you just tired of fighting. You know what I'm saying? So now I just need some relaxation mentally and physically. But please don't ever say we are victims. That's the reason why we're in the position
Yeah,
that
but
we're in now.
we don't claim that though
No,
because
no, don't. I'm
we
not. When they say
yeah,
we love to be victims, like we ain't
nah,
go through nothing. We did go through
ain't no
something.
fucking victims over here, dog. We went through 400 years of wars over here, the American Indian. Not no
Yes,
African, not no Australian, not no
right.
Chinese, not no European. We went through 400 years of war right here on North
And I don't mean to say
American
victim in a disrespectful
soil.
way. I'm saying that please don't say like we just love to be we just love to go. No, it's not like that. We did go through something.
We went through
You let
plenty of
somebody come
shit.
in your house and take, I don't care if you're a man or not. It will forever be in your mind. If you don't get that person back, it's going to always be. And even though you there with your wife, she's still going to be scared. Every time you leave the house, we so overprotective of our kids because of what our lives have been through. And they're
Right.
still going through.
But you notice all you hear is that when the European came over here to set up their colonies, they kill off all the Indians and and all of this, but you had a couple of Indians that fought back. And these are
Uh-huh.
the ones who fought back. Uh it's only a couple of them. So you mean to tell me it's over 10 to 12 to 20,000 American Indian chieftains over here just in North America alone at the time. You mean to tell me y'all only can quote 5 people who fought against y'all and
Mm.
y'all idolize them? But the reason I found out with these $5 Indians and these pretendians, the reason why they idolize these people because they had little shows like the Buffalo Bill show where they was going around from colony to colony showing how they killed off the Indians and shit like this. Man, let me tell you, man, this shit is deep. But now we seeing, because it's people like us that do more research. And now we really bringing out the story of the American Indian over here because you never heard nothing about the American Indian story except for these certain groups of people who fought and they got taken over. But other than that, you never heard about their spirituality system. Oh no, none of that. That shit came now. Like if you left it up to them, they told you that the American Indian over here worship all kind of gods. That's a lie. We had a spirituality system that them boys in tune with, and they was able to use their religion to in tune with our spirituality system. And in some places, you can see that they incorporated our spirituality system and our holidays and stuff. You see that they incorporated with their history. But when it get written by them, everybody's saying, "Oh, this their history that they brought to the Indian." That's bull jive. These people didn't know how to wash. They didn't know how to brush their teeth. All of these things was introduced to them. Their life expectancy was a year and a half. And that's a major thing. That's another thing what Dosey them brought out about that slave trade narrative. Like, yo, their life expectancy wasn't that long.
Them companies
So,
wasn't that long either. Salute,
right.
Anthony. So how they saying, oh, they sent chips for hundreds of years and the company didn't last but 5? Like what? Like it don't make sense once you look
It don't
into
make
it. But that's
sense.
why they don't want us looking into the logistics, because the
Right.
logistics kill the narrative.
Right. And now that we had access, I swear to God, Dosey, I know you probably ran through this too, but boy, when we first started, 5 years ago, four and a half years ago, when I first started and getting in tune with this, where I used to get bashed by unscrambled minds every night. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Hashtag. Um, uh, the stuff that I used to research, I can't even get no more, Dosey. You ran into
Right.
that?
Oh yeah, they're definitely removing some things, putting some things back. There's some books now that people have put out certain books. Now it's $100 to $300 to buy those books. Like, yeah.
It's crazy work. I'm telling you, things. I mean, and man, we used to be on it. Like, yo, you seen this from the archive? Yo, you seen this from this and that? And we can't even find these things no more. And if you do find them, they're not gonna have everything that you had in there. And shout out to those independent companies that was throwing all these things out there and asking for support so they can keep doing it. And little do we know that once you start supporting, you can help change the narrative. You can start writing to them. And same thing with Wikipedia. Wikipedia is good. It's a starting point. But I can write Wikipedia, or I can go in there and change a definition on Wikipedia right now today. I can change some things. So we got emails of people saying that they're reaching out. We got videos of people saying they're reaching out to these people with all this information that we're bringing out that they couldn't combat at. You know what I mean? For 3 years, they didn't have nothing to do with our information. They didn't have no answers or no nothing. We got a video saying that they, you know what I mean, call these people and they write to these people about taking these things down. And sure enough, it happened. Once they go to the federal government on you, man, you fighting uphill. And once people went on the federal government with us, man, you know what I mean, it was crazy. That's when we know we was really doing work. Shout out to Unscrambled Minds. Please like, share, and subscribe, man. Real. It's free.
Yes, and we're coming to a close now. It's about to be on the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, I'm gone, sisters.
Yeah, this
Glad.
is this is a really good subject, though. I have to admit, I know it's a lot. Hey, OTK, there he is. It's a lot that people can say and people don't want to say. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just crazy out here. That's how I'm gonna say things. It's crazy out here, but I guess you gotta be crazy with them. I think they crazy, and I want them to know I'm crazy.
And listen, I'm about to get up out of here, man. I want to give a thanks to y'all chiefnesses, man, because y'all, I don't know what y'all saw in me, but y'all put up with me. Y'all put up with me for a while, and we still here today. Years later, we still here today, and we still family. You feel me? I
Absolutely.
definitely want to give a shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? And hey man, one day at a time, man, one step at a time. Um, and I can say that I am the Indian missionary, and me and my Indian Missionary Society, I do go around and convert people, and I have been doing that. I started with y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, I know
I
that's
still have not been converted. I have not been converted. Okay.
right. Nisha said I have not been converted.
I just had to throw
I
a
just
little
had to
fun
throw a
out
little
there.
fun out
Hey, I
there.
love y'all, man. I'm gone. Peace, man. I love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Peace,
Love you too.
OTK.
Too. Peace, OTK. Peace, OTK.
So, Nisha, Docs, did y'all want to say anything before we shut this down?
Well, if they don't, I
Well, if
want
they
to say,
don't, I want to say,
I want to protect yourself
I want to protect yourself
and doing the others
and doing the others
what they do to you.
what they do to you. Yeah, we should always protect ourselves. You should own a gun.
Mm,
That's mandatory. You should. It's not even a question. Um, guns, plural. You should. Um, even if you are a felon, how it's working now. I think I'm gonna talk about that on next week. Um, but don't think that you can't get your gun rights back. Put it like that, and I'll go through different little steps about how to get that. If you're not, if you think that you can't because you're a felon, listen, time have changed, baby. So please be armed.
Yep, facts, Dots. Dots may have stepped away. Sister Freedom, what was that
I,
all you wanted to say about
yeah, I
Auntie?
just want to say good night. You know, to everybody. And I mean it when I say good night. Have a good night. Whew, man, just just protect yourself. And that thing Nisha just was talking about, yeah, all of us need one of them things.
Or multiple. But thank you guys. Thank you all that came through. Thank you again for Lucky for sharing this stream with us and talking to us about this issue that's been going down with all these different characters, not only on the internet but
Mm-hmm.
in real life. Just of
Mm-hmm.
us really getting into it and seeing like what the other side is saying, and especially because it really seems like they're utilizing us, our talking points, all this other stuff, so they can usurp, everything, the American heritage as is, like they've always done. But
Mm-hmm.
these things of us coming together and really just being on code with each other really would outweigh anything you had to prove to any of them. Once we're collective together and not even just all together, like Dot says, find your tribe. But once we're collectives together, really operating, there's nothing anybody can do about it. Peace, y'all. Peace. Have a good night. Let me get in everything queued up, and y'all can talk while I'm getting the song queued up.
Yeah, it's
That,
just important for us to take care of each other, take care of ourselves, all that good stuff. Go ahead, Dulcie, do your thing, sis.
mm-hmm. Good night,
Mm-hmm. Good
y'all.
night,
Good
y'all.
night,
Good night,
Amazon
Amazon
sisters.
sister. Good night.
Boy,